Welcome back to The Stranger Within by Kimberly Tracy. We last left off where Hannah was trying to get into Jenna's laptop. She discovered that Jenna had a blog and she was beginning to research into it before Ma had called up for her to come down for dinner. Let's continue to see what happens next. The Stranger Within by Kimberly Tracy, Chapter 7. Ma had set the counter seats up with placemats and plates. Hannah went to the cabinet drawer to pull out silverware for dinner. She then moved to grab glasses out of a cabinet and set everything down on the countertop. They had not had dinner at the dining room table since that horrible night. Hannah knew that Ma could not bear to set the table minus another person. What will Mom do when I leave? She wondered for a moment. Hannah was not too sure how long she would be home for before heading back to school, if she did return. Given everything that had happened, she would try to stay until she figured out what truly happened to her sister. Sweetie, I'm sorry for earlier, Ma said very calmly. Ma knew that she lost her temper at Hannah in the car earlier. It was not like her to act so harshly, but given the circumstances, no one could blame her. She was trying to make peace with her daughter now that the dust had settled and both had time to reflect. Ma tried her hardest to keep her calm in most situations, but sometimes it was too hard given the pressure she felt. That was why Ma wanted to clear the air. The tension was filling that she did not like. Thanks, Ma, Hannah responds, a little taken back by the quick apology. Truly believing that her mom meant it, Hannah decided to let the topic rest for the time being. She went into the refrigerator to take out the milk container. She pours both the glass for herself and for Ma. Afterwards, Hannah returns the milk to the refrigerator and takes the glasses to the counter while waiting for Ma to finish up cooking. Hannah sits down herself, knowing that there was not much else she could do. Just a few more minutes on the rolls, Ma says as she sets the casserole on the counter. She then places a serving spoon next to the pan and takes off the foil. Ever since Hannah started middle school, her parents started letting them fix their own plate. Jenna, being the little sister, wanted to do everything that Hannah could do, so she started fixing her own plate earlier. Go ahead and get started, Ma said just as the oven timer went off. Hannah fixed herself a small serving of the casserole and waited for it to cool down. While she sat there, she looked out the kitchen window and could see the monarch butterfly pass by. It gently glided through the yard towards the lily. Moments like this reminded her of the beauty Jenna saw in the world. Had she been there, the camera would have come out in hopes of capturing a photograph. Hannah sighed, thinking about her sister and the joy she took in nature. Out the oven came the rolls that Mom had made. She set the tray onto the stovetop and grabbed a spatula out of the drawer. She scooped the rolls into a bowl and set them next to the casserole. Hannah, would you like a roll? Ma asked as she made herself a plate. When she had her plate made, she sat down next to Hannah. Yes, please, Hannah responded, knowing Mom was offering to hand her one. Her food finally cooled off enough for her to begin eating it. She took one bite of the casserole and flashed back to another memory. Shortly after the accident, neighbors had begun dropping off food for them. The girls would try to guess which neighbor made which casserole at dinner time. One night they were eating Ma's casserole, unknowingly, and talked to how it must have been the old lady down the street, since it tasted like Grandma's casserole. Ma was listening to their conversation and corrected them. Both girls laughed so hard that they could not stop themselves. It was no wonder that the casserole tasted so familiar. Ma reached into the bowl and placed a roll onto Hannah's plate. Both sat in silence for a few moments. It was torture to Hannah. She hated it when people would give her the silent treatment. Hannah would rather talk through her issues and resolve them than just acting like it did not happen. Even if Ma was not giving her the silent treatment, it felt like it to her. After some time had passed, she could not take it anymore and burst out, Ma, Jenna did not have an accident. After the words came out of her mouth, she could not take them back. All she could do was sit there and hope that Ma did not hear her. Hannah, I know what I said in the car. I know that I apologized. That does not mean I changed my mind about discussing this. Mom quickly shot back. There they were at war of words with each other. It seemed that the more Hannah pushed the subject, the more Ma pushed back and shut down the conversation. How was she going to be able to resolve this if Ma would not listen to her? Hannah tried to gather her thoughts before responding to Ma. She did not want to make the same mistake of blurting just anything out for the sake of words to be in there. Ma, she nervously started, I'm sorry for not listening to you. It took a lot for Hannah to come up with that when there were 100 other things she would rather say, like the fact that there was someone else there that night, or the fact that Jenna left the house and went down the path alone, or the fact that Jenna was keeping secrets. She just did not know how to address each situation yet. She needed more concrete evidence to support her theory first. For the remainder of dinner, the two sat in silence as they ate. It was hard for Hannah to do, but she did not have any other choice. Thank you for dinner, Hannah told her ma as she stood up from the counter. She was not going to let the disagreement cause her to forget her manners. She then grabbed her dishes and headed towards the dishwasher. For as long as Hannah could remember, it was the girls' responsibility to clean up their dinner plates before leaving the dinner table. You're welcome, honey, Ma responded. She was just finishing up her food for the evening, too. Ma took the last bit of her roll and scooped up the remaining portion of her casserole with it. Hannah could tell that Ma had not eaten all day by the pace she was eating at dinner. After Hannah finished putting her dishes away, she walked back towards the counter. Ma, would you like help cleaning up dinner? She asked, although she secretly hoped that Ma would say no, so she could continue investigating the laptop. Hannah knew that her ma would appreciate the help after such a long day. That would be wonderful, honey, Ma quickly responded. She must have grown tired from the day. Hannah could not imagine what it was like to be in her position. A mother's worry for a child does not compare to anything else. Being a mother meant that you put your child's needs before your own, even if that meant doing without. Hannah turned to grab containers and lids from the cabinet to her right. Once she found a couple that would suffice, Hannah began transferring some of the casserole into a container. Ma then grabbed a container and placed the rolls into it, taking turns putting things into away. In no time, they had the entire counter cleared off. Hannah then headed towards the stairway without saying a word. She ascended the stairs, then turned into the restroom to clean up. She closed the door behind herself. Hannah then looked into the mirror at herself. She could see that her color had returned to her face since earlier, but her eyes still looked weary. Her long chestnut brown hair was finally dry from her shower, although she still needed to brush it thoroughly. Hannah reached into the restroom cabinet to pull out her hairbrush and detangling spray. Next, she sat down on the toilet seat, tossing her hair over her head and leaning towards. She began spraying the detangler at the ends of her hair. Turning back upright, she began to brush her hair, taking care not to rush through it so the knots would not cause split ends. Once Hannah had finished messing with her hair, she decided that she might as well get ready for bed. With this thought in mind, she turned on the hot water so she could wash her face. While the water was running and warming up, she pulled her hair into a low ponytail so it would not get in the way. Next, Hannah went back into the cabinet to put away the brush and detangling spray. She opened the other door and took out her face wash, toothbrush, and toothpaste. She began to adjust the water now that it was warm enough. As the water washed over Hannah's face, she felt a sense of relief. It was almost as if someone was there with her saying that things will get better. It was hard to wrap her head around it, but it was a welcomed feeling. Hannah then prepared her toothbrush and began brushing her teeth. After rinsing out her mouth, Hannah turned off the water and returned everything into the cabinet. Now that Hannah was ready for the night, she could go talk with her mom before turning in for the night. Although Hannah would not be sleeping, Mom would not know that. This would give her the opportunity to go through the laptop for as long as she wanted without being disrupted. She decided that she would just tell Mom that she was tired from being at the hospital. That way there would be no questions as to why she was going to bed so early. Hannah descended the steps and headed towards the living room, where she was sure to find Ma. She turned the corner into the room and saw Ma sitting in the recliner, reading a book. It was her Ma's way of escaping everything that was bothering her. If she was reading, then she could not be thinking. or worrying. Ma, Hannah quietly interrupted, I just wanted to tell you good night. I'm feeling really tired from earlier. Not a problem, honey. I hope that you have a wonderful slumber. Mom quickly responded with not taking her eyes up from the book. It must be an interesting story to keep her attention so well, thought Hannah. With that, she turned back around and headed towards the stairs again. Before going upstairs, she decided to get a small snack from the kitchen. She reached into the cookie jar and pulled out 2 homemade chocolate chip cookies. Next, she went back to the stairs and headed up to her room. Once she returned to the room, Hannah quickly took Jenna's laptop from under the bed. She sat on her sister's bed waiting for the login screen to appear. She paused for a moment, then recalled it was the horse that won the race. After typing the horse's name, the computer came back to life. Hannah logged into her new Blogspace account and continued searching for her sister's page. Finally, she found it. As Hannah began to scroll through Jenna's blog, she noticed her sister posted something every couple of days. Hannah looked at the comments and wondered, were any of these people at the funeral? There really was no way for Hannah to know for sure, but it was possible. It would actually explain why she did not recognize many of the people there. If they were all just fans or followers or Jenna's, how did they know about the funeral? Wondered Hannah. Didn't a mob post it in the paper? Although it was possible, Hannah still thought it was very unlikely. Hannah continued scrolling through Jenna's blog, hoping to find a clue, something to help her understand what happened to her sister that night. Hannah could not help to shake the feeling that something went horribly wrong. Hannah scrolls back to a previous blog. May 29th, 2022. 1500 hours, 24 minutes, 17 seconds. Jenna S26. Hey guys, I hope you all enjoyed my last piece. Here is another new one for you all. Enjoy. The top. I'm standing down here on the ground, looking up at the feat I must face, counting the obstacles in my way, just trying to make it out of this place. This mountain I can climb is not a matter of time. I know that He is on my side. I will make it up just fine. 1 foot in front of the other, 1 step at a time. I can make it through this as long as I take my time. This mountain I can climb, it's not a matter of time. I know that He is on my side. I will make it up just fine. I'm looking down from the top in all of my path, seeing all the steps I've overcome. I'm looking down from the top in all of my path. Hannah did not bother to scroll through the comments, as this song her sister wrote seemed to be very positive. She could tell that Jenna was struggling, but the song made it seem like she had it all together. Did something happen to Jenna to change this? Wondered Hannah. She really hated the fact that she had been away at school. If only she would have stayed home, maybe things would have been different. Maybe her sister would still be alive. Hannah continued scrolling, looking at posts about Jenna's friends' dogs, each containing a picture of the dog along with some crazy story. In addition, she occasionally would have a daily joke posted. The irony was that Jenna called it daily, even though it was more like weekly from what Hannah could tell. Determined to figure more out, Hannah continued scrolling through the blog. She came across another one of Jenna's songs. She never even knew her sister wrote music, let alone that she could sing and compose. This was just one of the many secrets that would come out about Jenna. April 3rd, 2022, 1400 hours, 37 minutes, 58 seconds. Jenna S26. Hey guys, how are you all doing? Hopefully greater than great. Here's my next one for you all. Jumping. I'm jumping, 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 jumping for joy, jumping for joy. I've got the sunshine on my back. I've got the wind in my hair. I've got the sand between my toes. I'm jumping, 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 jumping for joy, jumping for joy. April 3rd, 2022, 1400 hours, 41 minutes, 25 seconds. Tender Heart. This song makes me want to get up and dance. Love it. April 3rd, 2022, 1400 hours, 41 minutes, 46 seconds. Jazz Wow. Great lyrics, just needs a catchy melody. I can almost hear it now. There were too many comments for Hannah to read them all. Most of the comments were positive, like the first two. A few people complained that it was repetitive, but weren't most songs? Hannah wondered. There were not really negative comments posted, at least none that Hannah thought stood out anyway. Still not finding what she was looking for, Hannah continued scrolling. It appears that Jenna ghosted her followers. What happened in April, wondered Hannah. She tried her best to think about what events happened in April, but nothing came to her mind. It would have been easier for her if she had not been away at school then. Just as Hannah was about to give up, she came across a different type of song, one that was filled with despair and sorrow. Jenna had claimed it was incomplete, but Hannah thought that she might have given up on it. April 12th, 2022, 1400 hours, 32 minutes, 56 seconds. Jenna 26. Hey guys, here's a new song I've been working on. It's not finished, so please be kind. I cried my last year. I let my world implode. It's been a rough year. I'm ready to go. I've taken my last breath. I let my eyes lay closed. For this is my end. This is how my story unfolds. This is how my story is untold. Hannah could see a change in her sister's writing. She thought back to the first blog post she read and then compared it to the two most recent posts. Even after the accident, her post did not seem that dark. It was almost like Jenna was starting to lose hope. Was she really trying to end her life? Hannah wondered. And then there it was, the missing piece she had been looking for. The limo driver's picture was next to a comment on one of Jenna's posts. Hannah zoomed in to read it better. June 2nd, 2022, 1900 hours, 48 minutes, 34 seconds. Jenna S. 26. Hey guys, sorry I've been MIA lately, sad face. Hopefully you can understand. Here's my last piece for you all, how the story ends. I've been waiting around, waiting on something more, wanting more than this life has to offer, wanting more than I can afford. Life has brought me down before. This time is different, for there are no walls. I'm trapped in space. All I see is darkness around me. The fear keeps creeping in, and I'm about to give in, for my last breath will set me free, free from this world around me. June 2nd, 2022, 2000 hours, 23 minutes, 46 seconds. Been there before. Giving up is easy, making a change is hard. Keep your head up. Let's go for a run sometimes. Were they friends, Ben and Jenna? Was he a stalker? Hannah pondered what the comment meant. It was the first time Ben commented on any of her posts that Hannah had noticed. Strange that he comments on her last post before she passed away. Could Ben have been the last person to see Jenna? Was she meeting him for a run? The more Hannah dug around, the more questions she had. Nothing seemed to make sense to her anymore. Hannah knew Ben was there that night on their street. Was Ben invited? Did Ben just show up by coincidence? Hannah had even more questions than answers now. Thank you again. Remember to like and subscribe so that you can hear the next chapter drop next Friday. Have a